welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my everyday makeup routine. For the most part, this is what I do, although sometimes I'll switch up my eyeshadow choices, but this is basically what I do every day when I put on my makeup. So before I even put on my makeup, I put on my moisturizer. I moisturize every day, twice a day. I do it in the morning and at night. And anytime before I put on my makeup, there's always going to be moisturizer on. My skin gets very dry, especially now in the wintertime, so it's very important that I moisturize. So I have recently picked up the Philosophy's Renewed Hope in a Jar Dry, and I really like it so far. It has a really nice smell, and I feel like it just really moisturizes my face, especially because this is meant for dry skin. So I'm excited for this. I really feel like I'm gonna love this. So far, so good. So I have that all over my face. And before I get started, I also will put on some chapstick. 9 times out of 10, I will have chapstick on just because, especially in the wintertime, they get chapped too. So I have Lush's Honey Trap Lip Balm, and I just love it. It is awesome. I got it in a white elephant gift actually. Uh, but any chapstick will do. So we'll just keep that on there. For primer, I am going to be using the L'Oreal Magic Perfecting Base. It's a great primer. It's cheap. I think it's like at most $12, and it does the job. So I don't have any, expensive primer. I would love to try some, but right now this is fine. So I'm just going to dot it all over my face and just blend it in. Okay, so after my primer has set, I'm going to move on to my foundation. And the foundation that I'm currently using is the Naked Skin Weightless Ultra Definition Liquid Foundation, and I love this foundation. I am honestly, sometimes I won't even put on liquid foundation. I'll just kind of put some concealer on, set it, and do all the other stuff. But when I really want to put on liquid foundation and have a little bit more coverage, this is the one that I go for. It's just, honestly, I just feel like it's the perfect one for me because I don't want to have too much coverage. I don't want too much of a heavy concealer. I mean, not too much of a heavy foundation because I just don't like that on my skin. It just looks too much. But this one does the trick. It does a nice little even coat. It evens out my skin tone. I don't know, I just love it. It's awesome and it's very lightweight. I love it. And I have it in the shade 1.0 because I am pale. So I'm going to put that a little dot in the back of my hand, and I'm going to be using the Sigma Flat Kabuki F80 brush. And some brushes that I have in my kit are Jaclyn Hill favorites, and shout out to Jaclyn for just rocking it. She is awesome. I love her. If you aren't subscribed to Jaclyn Hill, which I would be shocked if you aren't, but if you aren't, please go subscribe to her. She doesn't even know I exist, but I love her. She has just the best knowledge of makeup and what to use, so please go over and check her out. She is the queen of makeup. She knows everything, so go over to her. So I'm just gonna kind of dab it on all over my face, and I like to just kind of dab it on and blend it. All right, and now I'm gonna move on to concealer, and my favorite concealer as of right now is the Urban Decay Naked Skin Weightless Complete Coverage Concealer. I have it in the shade Light Warm, and this is the best concealer. I think it does an amazing job for covering up your dark circles, making you look more awake, and it also isn't too heavy, which I love. I don't like when concealer is just, you know, you can be like, whew, it is just too much. So this is the most perfect one. I love it. This is my second or third bottle, and I'm going to be using the Taper Kabuki F86 brush to dab it in. And now I'm gonna go in with my Tapered Highlighter F35 brush, another Jaclyn Hill favorite brush, and the Anastasia Contour Kit. And I used to use the lightest shade. It's the, I think it was the banana cream, but I've obviously loved that way too much and it's gone. So I'm gonna use just this other light shade to set my concealer. It is so important that you set your concealer, because before I never ever used to do it. I was just like, whatever. But now that I do, I swear it lasts longer, it looks nicer, and I just love it. I love it. It's amazing. And I'll just kind of set kind of everywhere in that T-zone area again, just because I feel like sometimes that can get a little bit, you know, shiny. So all right, so after I'm done with my concealer, I'm going to move on to setting my face. And again, kind of with the same concept of, you know, setting your concealer, you need to set your whole face as well so that it lasts, your foundation stays put, and it just looks nice. What I am going to be using is the Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder, and I got this for Christmas, and I love it so far. It's awesome. And I'm just going to take a little face powder brush. I want to get a big fluffy brush. I used to have one, and then I used it to help blend like my self tanner, and yeah, I can't use that anymore, so I need to get on that. But I just take this big, you know, little face brush and take a little bit on there and set my foundation. A little goes a long way. You don't need a lot. Now, after my powder and I've set my foundation and I've done my concealer, I'm moving on to my bronzer. So I contour. I really don't. I say I do, but I really don't. I'm very pale, as you can see, so I can't do, you know, anything too crazy, but I do love adding some warmth back into my skin tone, and so I use the Anastasia Contour Kit, and I'm gonna go right back to that, and I'm gonna use their middle brown shade. The other two are a little too dark for me, so I just kind of use the middle one, and I put it on the tip of my little e.l.f. contouring kabuki brush. It's so cute and it's awesome. It's cheap and it works great. And I'm just gonna put a little bit into the hollows of my cheeks, and I'll bring it up, put it on my temple and my forehead, and just kind of bronze myself a little bit, give some warmth back. And I'll go back and kind of blend it out. I'll go under my chin, down my neck. And then I'll kind of bring it all over, to be honest. Give some warmth. And I just kind of, I'm a big person on blending, so I'll go back and really blend it out. And I like everything to be like a little bit softer and not very harsh. So also, I really don't really know how to properly contour, so that's how I do it. And now moving on to a little bit of blush. So the one that I'm using currently and that I love is the NYX's Dusty Rose. Looks like this. It's so pretty. I feel like it's like the perfect color for the winter time. I love it. So I'm just gonna take it on my blush brush and kind of concentrate it more right above my contour and kind of up into my temple, and then a little dusting on the apples of my cheeks. And then I'll put some on my forehead and my nose and my chin and just give some color and warmth into my skin, so it just looks like I have a nice glow going on. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to prime my eyelids before I do my brows. So I'm just going to be using the Urban Decay Naked Eyeshadow Primer Potion, the Huge, and a little goes a long way with this stuff. You really don't need to use a ton. So I'm just going to dab it on my lid, kind of bring it up a little bit. And set my eyelids. And I like to give enough time for my eyelids to set before I start putting, you know, powder and eyeshadow and stuff on it. So let's see. So now it is the brows. And what I am using is the Anastasia Brow Wiz in medium brown. I'll just bring the spoolie through and brush through. Get those hairs out of here. Brush through my brow, and this is kind of what they are right now. I like the shape of them. I just like to just define them a little bit more, make it look a little bit more put together. And so you'll see that I don't do too much to my brows. I do like to just enhance them a little bit. So I will start at the bottom, kind of fill in any areas that are sparse, but I kind of like to start on the bottom. Draw a little line on the top, kind of outline it, and just let you know it's very hard to talk with while doing your brows, so I apologize if I'm like, meh, sound like a robot. So I just like to kind of darken it up a little bit. And then I will go back through and kind of brush through it. I like to brush through and just make sure it just looks a little bit, you know, even. So that's kind of the difference between the two. It just enhances them a little bit. It just makes them a little bit more put together, and that's what I love doing with them. So I will take the NYX Wonder Pencil in the light Clair, and I don't really know if this does anything, but I like to highlight them a little bit. It's kind of hard to blend, to be honest, so I kind of have to just like tap at them. And then I'll use a little powder to highlight, but I just like to, I feel like this just cleans them up a little bit, makes them look a little bit, you know, more defined. But again, I'm not, you know, incredible at doing these, but, you know, I feel like I like the way that I do them right now. Moving on to the eyeshadow. So I've done my face, I've done my bronzer, my blush, my eyebrows, and now I'm going to move on to the eyeshadow. And this is where sometimes I change it up or I do something different. So first I'm going to highlight my brow bone, and I'm just going to use a large shader brush. And the Naked 2 Basics, love these palettes. They are amazing, especially just starting out with makeup. Really good. I'm going to use, let's see, Skimp, this one right here. And I'm going to take a little bit on that big shader brush and just take it on my brow bone and my inner corner, just to highlight a little bit. I'm going to put a little bit into my crease, and I'm going to still use the Naked 2 Basics palette. I'm just going to combine Frisk and Cover, and I'm going to put it on a big fluffy brush and take a little bit of each and start putting it into my crease. And I'm just kind of going back and forth, the little fanning motion. It's okay if it's somewhat messy. It doesn't need to be perfect, but I like having just a little bit of depth to my color right there. Then I am going to be taking, let's see, now this is what happens to me. I don't really know what shadow I want to use. I kind of just use random ones, but I think today I want to use Sin, and this is from the original Naked palette, but of course I loved it so much that it is empty. So I had to buy the single color shadow. So Sin from Urban Decay, and take it on a little flat shader brush, put it all over my lid. And then I'm gonna take a very small angled brush and dip that into Sin and put it on the inner third of my lower lash line and kind of drag it across. I like to mimic whatever I do on the top lash line to my bottom lash line. And then I'm going to take a medium angled brush. I like to use this to put deepness into my crease and darkness, because I feel like it's the easiest for me. I know that a lot of people will just, you know, grab another big fluffy brush, but I feel like it just puts too much on my lids. For my eye shape, I just like to have a little bit more control with where I put it. So I will take this brush right here and into the original Naked palette, take Dark Horse. I love this color. And I'm going to kind of put the tip into the outer V and just kind of start wiggling it on there. I'm going to take a very clean tapered blending brush, and I'm just going to start blending the shadows. Like I said, I mimic my top lash line to my bottom lash line. So I'm going to go back in with that small angled brush and take Dark Horse again and kind of concentrate it more on the outer edge of my lower lash line. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that blending brush and I'm going to blend my lower lash line. And again, I feel like I reference her so much, but Jaclyn Hill showed me this tip when I was watching one of her videos before, and I was just like, why have I not done this? Now I'm going to put some liner on my top lash line. I do not put liner on my lower lash line. I feel like it just makes my eyes look really, really small, smaller than they already are. So I definitely like to just stick to just my top lash line. I'm going to take just some gray. It's like this L'Oreal pencil liner in charcoal. And I'm going to actually take a foundation brush. And the reason why I'm going to use this to kind of hold my finger so I can pull my eye, yes, I know you're not supposed to do that, but I do it because I don't understand how people can just go like this. It does not work for me. I'm sorry. I'm going to get wrinkles when I'm older. I understand. But I use this to kind of hold my eye as I apply my liner, because it allows for me to have a little bit more of a gentle touch on my eye, and it allows me to not mess up the makeup that I've already applied. now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little pencil brush, just like this, and I'm just going to gently smudge out my liner. I like to make it a little bit more of a softer look. Now it is time for mascara, and this is the part that I feel like finally helps make everything go together. I got a little sample of the Tarte's Lights Camera Lashes, and I really love this mascara. I used to have the full size, but I just haven't recently, but I love this mascara. So you can stick with just, one layer of mascara, but I always do two. And the other mascara that I'm using is the Benefits Roller Lash. I love, love, love this mascara. Now the very last step, and that is the lips. So I normally, sometimes it depends on what I'm feeling like, but sometimes I'll just do just some chapstick, or if I want just a little bit more color and just to look a little bit more put together, I will put on just a little bit of lip liner and a little bit of lipstick. And the one that I'm using currently is Rimmel London's Exaggerate, and it is the full color lip liner, and it's 063. Rimmel London's Lasting Finish by Kate lipstick, and it is in number 17. It's really pretty. It's just like a very natural lip color, so I'm just going to apply this over top. So that is it. This is my everyday makeup routine. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to subscribe and like this video, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!